It's my turn to speak, and I must make sure I don't take more than 8 minutes because I've been rationing the other speakers. My name is Vijay Mehta. Good evening. And what I plan to do is explore why US, NATO, and UK troops are fighting an unwinnable war, the signing of UN agreement with NATO, the dangers of escalation of Afghan war, and the strategies and solutions, which is the most important part of our meeting today, we can adopt to bring stability in Afghanistan and end to Afghanistan war. So what's happening in Afghanistan? 100,000 US NATO troops, 200,000 Afghan army. I don't know if people have heard it. They want to, this 200,000, they want to bring another 200 to make 400,000 Afghan army. Are fighting Taliban. And believe me, Taliban is only 5% of the whole population. And non-existent Al-Qaeda. Why? Because they've all gone away to Pakistan, Middle East, and Africa. So, and why are we spending billions of dollars, to be exact 220 billion, 4 billion a month, on a war running into 9th year, with little or no return? Yes, there is something to show for. What is it? Rampant corruption, mismanagement, and compromised, fraud-run re-election of President Karzai. That's what we have got to show for these 220 people. So what's happening at present in Afghanistan? British, US, and NATO troops are bogged down in a bloody, unpopular country. And Afghanistan has demonstrated again that it remains true to its reputation as a graveyard of empires. The present occupation with NATO troops is a reminder of what happened to the defeat of the British at the War of Kabul in 1842 and the humiliating retreat of the Soviet Union in 1989, just before the collapse of the Berlin Wall. Let me speak a little bit about UN-NATO agreement. The United Nations was created to promote and maintain worldwide peace, and NATO exists to assure the self-interest of a group of 27 EU member countries. Its mandate, grounded in the 1949 North Atlantic Treaty, originally dealt with the defense of its member states. So several important questions come out of this. One, is United Nations accord with NATO a military alliance with nuclear weapons in contradiction with Article 2 of the United Nations Charter, which requires that conflicts be resolved by peaceful means? Can UN and NATO actions be distinguished when 3 of the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council are also NATO members? So how can future violations of international law by NATO be legally prosecuted? Is an institution like NATO, which 1999, without a UN mandate, unlawfully bombed Serbia and Kosovo, is it a suitable partner for the United Nations? The situation in Afghanistan is serious. Neither success nor failure can be taken for granted. Although considerable effort and sacrifice have resulted in some progress, many indicators suggest that the overall situation is deteriorating. I'm going to skip a lot of my speech because it's written and you can have it there. Okay, today Afghanistan provides the Obama administration with an opportunity to set America on a path to reassert both domestic and international legitimacy. In this quest, it may be useful for the Obama administration to revisit the wisdom of one of the most successful American presidents and general of the 20th century, and one which Dwight D. Eisenhower. As he was departing the presidency in January 1961, Eisenhower warned against the growing influence of the military-industrial complex in American life and government. And I quote, In this councils of government, we must guard against the accusation of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist as we know. It is the advice that the Obama administration should heed as it surveys the wreckage in Afghanistan and at home that has resulted from the Bush-Cheney administration's injudicious pursuit of wars of choice. I'm just going to concentrate a few minutes on the solutions to Afghanistan, because that is the main part of this event. Hold a regional conference, all parties, US, NATO, European Union, United Nations, the Arabs, the Arab League, India, Pakistan, Russia and China. Very importantly, China. They've got a big, big role to play in this. Number 2, declare a unilateral ceasefire. Why? Because we are in the 9th year. Military solutions, we have shown there's no military solutions, so have a unilateral ceasefire. Next, start negotiations with the Taliban and the Pashtuns, as we once did with the IRA, who were called terrorists for 30 years. In the end, we sat down on the table and sorted out a peace process, Good Friday peace process, which is fragile, but is still holding. So what we do, we offer Afghanis security, vocational training, jobs, and amnesty for the past crimes. It's very important. We provide Afghanistan, thank you. That's 2 minutes for me as well, that please point it out. Provide bread and not guns. Why? Because Afghanistan is one of the poorest countries in the world, with a shattered economy and almost non-existent infrastructure. Okay, build modern schools instead of religious madrasas. Stop drone attacks. I'm not going to go more on it, as Lindsay and some others have said about it. And beware of the most massive volcano in the region, which means fires are raging in Iraq, Afghanistan, Lebanon, Palestine, Yemen, as Lindsay said, Somalia, everywhere, Pakistan. So we've got to be aware of that. So let me move on to my conclusion. In conclusion, I would like to draw attention to a bigger danger than the war in Afghanistan and Pakistan. And what is that? That is the United States sliding into a military dictatorship. This has been recently said by none other than the famous American political writer Gore Vidal. And I quote what he said. We will have a military dictatorship soon on the basis nobody else can hold everything together. Obama is inexperienced and has a total inability to understand military matters. He is acting as if Afghanistan is the magic bullet, or solve Afghanistan and you solve terrorism. Obama would have been better off educating the American people. And I would say the same thing is also true of Afghanistan. You educate Afghanis and you have saved the country from utter chaos and opened the way for forging peace and stability. Thank you very much. Lindsay, you take my chair and I'm going to open up the debate for question answers. Now, before everybody will get a chance, because we've got 1.5